Hello, KIN6010ers, and welcome to your first week within the fully online evidence-based practice course. I'm Dr. Cosby. I realized that I don't think I had my face in the welcome and announcement to the course, so I wanted to put a face with a name. Some of you already know me because you're athletic training students in our athletic training program here, but welcome IWellers, welcome traditional MS Kenners, and welcome athletic training students to our fully online course. I'm really excited. Dr. Alvar is really excited to really get you guys to start thinking about what it means to be an evidence-based practitioner. So week one's module starts with the foundation to building what we call is a successful evidence-based clinician. And that is with your ability to ask the pertinent clinical questions. Believe it or not, most clinical questions arise from something that happens while you're in clinical practice, while you're working with your patient or your client. You become intrigued by maybe something like they're not getting better, or they're not getting stronger, or they're not getting well, or they're not healthy, or they want to become healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, right? And so that's usually what kind of triggers and drives the passion for becoming an evidence-based practitioner. But we want to make sure as evidence-based professors that you actually understand what the pieces are to the puzzle and what it requires to ask a really good, well-developed clinical question, one that would help you search the literature and actually help you answer your clinical question. So with all that being said, this is week one. So welcome to week one. I'm in module one, which is also associated with week one. Anytime you come across something in the modules, we encourage you to post it here within the discussion board. This triggers an email to us, and then we can answer any urgent questions that you might have about the weekly module. But worst case scenario, if you don't like posting questions publicly so your peers can see, then you can send both Dr. Alvar and I an email, and we'd be happy to address any questions that you might have within the actual modules themselves. As we scroll down through the week one module, as you guys know, we make no apology about this, but we are a Christian institution. Dr. Alvar and I love integrating our faith within the classroom in the ways that we interact with you guys, in the ways that we teach you guys how to search the literature. But we've actually put together integrating faith into evidence-based practice. What does it look like to be a Christian and to be practicing? And how do we kind of merge the two? How do we merge our profession with our faith? And what does that look like in the public sector, in the private sector? So it's not a required lecture, but certainly something that I think most of you would get something out of. So I encourage you to kind of listen to that and let it kind of marinate or soak and get you to start thinking about what it looks like to be a faith-based practitioner and how you're going to integrate that into the interactions that you have with your clients. Okay, I'm moving down into really the content of the course. The content of the course for the first week is always going to be identified by all caps. So you can see the first part of this is really just about searching the literature, knowing the difference between background and foreground questions. And you'll see if it says read that you're actually just going to be required to read the contents within that particular content page, right? There are other times within the actual module that you'll see something that says video, and that's either Dr. Alvar or myself creating really what we think are good content educational videos that will help you understand what it means to be able to search the literature to kind of answer your clinical based questions. As you move down, the chunk of what we really want you to focus on this week is in the creating the PICO question content. So first things we want you to do is read what does it mean to be evidence-based? What are the steps to do that? We walk you through how you can sequentially work on becoming an evidence-based practitioner and what it looks like to ask that clinical question. And then we start to dive deep into what it means to ask a PICO question. And you'll learn what the P, the I, the C, O, and the T stands for. And at the end of this, what we're doing is building your way towards the assignment that will be due on Sunday, which is creating a clinical question that you want to answer in this class by the end of the 8 weeks. So each of these content pages or videos is extremely important to watch or read because it's going to help you develop this clinical question. So as we click on this clinical question homework assignment, you're going to be asked essentially to fill out that form. So you're just going to put your information in there, and then Dr. Alvar and I will get an email telling us that you filled that out, and that will allow us to really guide your clinical question. It will allow us to help you develop that clinical question over the next 7 weeks or 8 weeks of the course. And then what we also have is what we call the collaborative discussion board. So this is the first collaborative discussion board of the semester. Remember, you're not only interacting with athletic training students, IWIL students, or MS kinesiology traditional students, you're also going to be interacting with our physician assistant students as well. So part of the assignment will be to respond to at least one peer within your class, but then also to respond to one peer outside of your actual profession. So we want to challenge you to be interdisciplinary, interprofessional professionals, and that's one way that we do that. But in order to get to this assignment, you'll actually have to click out of our Canvas course and go into the actual discussion board. And you can see there are already some people who have started the discussion board. So Sharon, for example, has already posted, and this is great. You guys are gonna pour into each other. You're gonna develop the clinical questions. And we get excited about that. We get excited because you're interacting with each other. You're interacting with peers outside of your program. And then we get to come alongside you and interact and create kind of this holistic, interdisciplinary healthcare discussion. And it's robust. Hopefully you can see that I'm getting excited, right? It's robust. So I'm just gonna go back to the weekly module and do maybe a quick summary of all things that are going to be due for this week. The expectation in a fully online course is you're interacting with the content, you're reading the content pages, or you're watching those videos that we've created for you. And then you can scroll down and you can see all of the things that are due. So you have that collaborative discussion board where your initial post is going to be due in a few short days on September 1st. You'll eventually work to develop a clinical question based on all of the feedback that you get in that discussion board. You'll fill out that PICO question form. It's really simple. It's just telling us what your PICO question is. And then you'll be responsible for taking an evidence-based practice quiz, which will test your knowledge based on the videos and the content that you read within the module. And then last but not least, I think Dr. Alvar and I are really try to get you guys to participate in what we call the weekly check-ins. This is a time for us to figure out how you're doing in the course. It's a time for us to figure out what you liked, what you didn't like, and honestly, your information that you give us in these weekly check-ins really help us change the course and make it better. Anyways, welcome to week 1. So excited to see which PICO questions are developed. There will be 68 different PICO questions developed within our section and about 35 developed in the physician assistant section. So a total of about 103 or so PICO questions will come across that discussion board. So really looking forward to that. Hope you guys have a wonderful week.